Well, look at this wickiup that we are making. A wickiup is a teepee-shaped debris shelter. We keep piling branches against that tree, and you can see it's forming a dome or a teepee shape, triangular shape. So let's keep on piling the branches on. In there is going to be a beautiful, I'll show you, place to sleep. Nice and big. Ground is flat. All looks pretty perfect for sleeping right here. So let's keep piling branches onto our wickiup. Look at my rather lovely wickiup. Let's go inside, shall we? So you can see it's beautiful and enclosed. Let's go all the way around. There's the central tree that it's built on. We keep going around. And here is what it looks like outside. You can see there are houses there. But otherwise, this is utterly away from everything and beautiful. So, this looks like it's going to be a fantastic place for a sleep. For a stealth camp, my word. Yay. Just look how thick that is. I won't stealth camp in the rain, but you could just drape a tarp over it and it'd be waterproof. It's never pleasant sleeping in the rain without a tarp. So here is our house for the night. I left a perfectly warm house and fire in the middle of winter to come and do this. Got our wine, we've got our ground sheet, the torch, a knife, socks. That's important to keep the feet warm. Let's lay the blanket on the ground, as the good old song goes. Also, it helps to protect the ground sheet from any thorns. I've got a lovely new, brand spanking new so here's our sleeping bag. It's not bad. It's not rated for below 0 temperatures, but it should be warm enough. And here is our brand spanking new blow-up air mattress. So here we are set, it seems, for the night. I'm pretty keen on it. Now it's been a bit of a while since I stealth camped. I had a few health issues. We've also got a pillow that we blow up. I'll blow up the air mattress and the pillows later on. So I had 2 minor heart attacks about 7 months ago. And that's what's been keeping me from doing any stealth camping. At first I felt almost too weak to do it. But yeah, I have no excuse now. It was so nice to be out here. Cheers. On my way I met a person who's house sitting for my neighbor. I hadn't met him before. And he goes from house to house, country to country, house sitting, looking after the pets for the owners while they're away, mostly overseas. I was just fascinated by he's divorced. His kids are grown up. He's got a job online. And he likes to do this. I said, don't you grow attached to your home and people at home and things like that? He said, no. He can. We've agreed to have coffee so that I can pick his brains and find out more about how he does it. I think it's marvelous. Because I've been watching Hunted. It's a series on people who are on the run. And I've also been watching a series of Alone, all the series, all 9, the first 9 series. Fascinating. It's people who build a wickiup like this that I'm in. And then there's 10 or so contestants, and they've got to see who lasts the longest. Some of them don't last because they have medical emergencies or some run out of food, but the mental problem of being alone. This is some fish cakes which I cooked. I'm keeping it quite simple. Yeah, it's mostly the mental stress of leaving their family alone for. And it really doesn't sound like long. It's, I think the longest, season 9, I think it was, or 8 was 100 days. Normally it goes up to about 60 days, and then that's the last person standing. Because winter comes on, this is always sort of set in Vancouver Island or somewhere in the Arctic. So it does get cold. But you can tell when they're about to leave, they start dwelling on their family. And they start saying, my family needs me more than it needs me being out here, even though they would win $500,000. They start justifying why they should leave and go home. I find that whole psychology so totally interesting because my wife died 3 years ago. And yeah, you really miss them. I mean, hardly a day goes by when you never think of it. So, for people to choose almost as a lifestyle, a nomadic way of life, I think it's fascinating. I'm interested to learn. Just like I'm very interested in the psychology. Alone is mostly about psychology, and if you like fishing and building outside shelters like this, it all helps. I mean, I'm sure you'd find a mountain man who lives like this normally, and he would just surely win the series because he's got no family to go home to. He's used to living, let's say, in Alaska. He's used to trapping and fishing and all that. I mean, I'd say that kind of person would just win it, hands down. They've got no psychology that's acting against them. I must admit, falling in love, it's something that happens so rarely, and it's such a wonderful experience. You can experience it at any age. And you can see how much people love their families on Alone. And they just hate to leave them and the kids and so on. I've been fascinated by the Beatitudes and having the mind of Christ, where especially the statement that you need to have, if your eye be single, then your whole body will be full of light. You can't serve God and mammon. You can't have two masters. This whole thing about being single-minded makes me think that Christ is so totally endorsing. Set your mind to something. Set your mind to the plough. And no man who set his mind to the plough and looking back is worthy of the kingdom. So once you've set yourself that you're going to plough, an analogy for you're now you're into God's kingdom, you're a servant of the Master. There should be no double-mindedness. James says a double-minded man is unstable in all these ways. He was the brother of Christ. So Christ and his brother were single-minded, single-purposed, single-focused, just setting your mind on a certain thing and not letting your mind dwell on other things. So I can see on Alone, when they start dwelling on their family, you can tell they're about to leave. I mean, they just talk themselves or think themselves into wanting to go home. Whereas they could say, my family can do without me for 100 days or whatever. And sometimes not through lack of food. Sometimes they've got stocked up pantry, but then they just can't take it anymore. The loneliness. That's the biggest thing. Alone. It's called alone, not hungry. Not starving. It's alone. It's the psychology. And it's a psychological game of who can bear to be alone the most. So, all totally interesting, fascinating, and to cultivate an attitude of Christ, which is like when Christ was at the Last Supper, his mind was focused on his disciples and enjoying the Last Supper. He said, with joy or something, I've looked forward to eating this meal with you. And then in the Garden of Gethsemane, he focuses on his coming suffering. And he sets his mind that he's not going to back out of going to the cross. And I think it's just the wonder, the amazingness of how Christ, it must be so single-minded. I think he thinks problems through, comes to a conclusion, he doesn't rethink it. It's not like Dale Carnegie in How to Stop Worrying said, sawing sawdust. So you've sawed something, and you rehash it and you rethink it. Oh, should I have done this? Shouldn't I? Being double-minded, being uncertain. It's just a wonderful thing to just focus and blot everything else out that is bothering you. Don't think about it. Resolve in your mind that you're not going to think about it. And just when you feel your mind going, like, say you are alone, when you feel your mind going to your family, pull it away from it and don't think about it, because that's going to make you sad and lonely. Set your mind on the $500,000 that you're going to, and just think on what you can do with that, or plan that, and oh yeah, I'm going to do this and this and this. So you have to be so single-minded to win alone, so focused on that, and not letting your, very temporary suffering away from your family. I mean, say you're away from your family. Many people have lived away from their families for a long time. I'm not saying it's easy or it's trivial. I'm not trying to minimize the suffering of being alone or away from a family. That's what makes it all just so interesting, that whole series. And as I say, I think that the subject of being single-minded is a super important part of winning even a show like Alone, or even winning the kingdom. If you are half in, half out, half for the church, half for God, no, we can't just love this world. We have to be out of this world. We can't be deeply rooted to this world. I'm here in my branchy shelter. Oh, it's just beautiful. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Just let me show you this wickiup. I don't know if you can see all the branches around this tree. I just love a wickiup that's built around a tree, with all these limbs stretching out from it. And you could have a fire at the base here, and the smoke would go through here. But they don't like fires here, and I wouldn't build a fire here. You get all the local residents that come and moan and blow your cover, so no fires. But I just I love this little teepee, and it's like practicing being away from the world, being in the world but not of the world. And it was really quite cold. I was really cold, and there was a horrible wind, but this is so sheltered and wonderful. I'm thinking I could live here, I could live like this, but wow, wouldn't it be lovely to live like this with someone you love, whoever that is. Just makes the whole experience. So I'm sure if you had to have a loan with husband and wife teams, boy, they'd last much longer. Or maybe not. Maybe one of them would crave home, or you've got sometimes when you've got two people, you've got double the weaknesses as well. So whereas one person might be able to mentally withstand being away from their normal life, you may find the other person can't. So you see that also on Hunted, how one person will just crave to, oh, it's my son's birthday, I've got to go and see my son, and then they get caught. you got to be so single-minded. No, for this time that I'm on the run, which is only 21 days normally, I'm just not going to see. I don't care if they got birthdays. I don't care what it is. I'm just going to stay completely off the grid. So, I think I've got 1, 2, 3 layers of jackets. I've got a sleeping bag that's not bad. They're not downy sleeping bags like American or Canadian or Arctic sleeping bags. They're just South African, for our above freezing point temperatures. When I started stealth camping, I had such a poor sleeping bag, a terrible thing. I always slept cold, and I didn't have an air mattress. Now with an air mattress, and this is actually my late wife's sleeping bag. Boy, I didn't realize she had such a nice warm sleeping bag. I inherited that, so wow, it makes sleeping out in the open wonderful. And it's a clear night tonight, so I'm looking forward to seeing all the satellites. So when it gets about an hour after sunset, I'm going to go out, just start to count satellites and just see. So that the stars of the sky are just like my friends. So I feel almost at home when I'm out looking at the sky. And I must say, I'm really feeling, I'm feeling quite happy here. As I say, I left a perfectly good fire still burning in the fireplace to come here. In the middle of winter, we've had so much rain. This is like the first sunny day we've had in a long time. Not the only sunny day, but one of the real first that I can exploit. And I'm just so happy I'm actually so happy that I'm here now. So, it's getting darker. I'm going to start, at some stage I'm going to blow up this air mattress. But at the moment, I don't need to bounce around on it. So, there you go. Stealth camping again. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm just looking so forward to it. So, here is our pillow. There is our bed. This thing's like this is the first time I'm using it. It's like a double bed. It took me ages and ages to blow up. My word. We've just been looking at the stars. Wow, wow, wow. We've got Scorpio right above. We've got a waning crescent setting in the west. And I saw about 15 satellites in about half an hour. So it was a beautiful evening, and the weather is not bad at all. There's no wind here, so I think we're going to be in for a really nice night's sleep.